Here we are at DTOY Racing, and we've got a long-time client in there coming to pick up their car today. So I'm going to go do a quick walk around of what we've done with this car, and just so it's up there for one and all to see. There she is, number 34 VK Commodore, Hanos Car Care. I affectionately call the old girl. She's been here for just on a month. She came in just to have a couple of little tidy up jobs done to her, get her in preparation for 2023 season. Les is on his way out here right now to pick her up. She hasn't been cleaned or serviced as such since her last time on track. I've just been tidying up a few little tasks that had developed throughout the course of the 2022 season. So I thought this would be a great time to be able to do a bit of a rundown on what we've been playing with here. So we'll start at the front, which lots of people like to know about. So in here, L98 or 6 litre, been stroked, big old carburettor feeding it, engine built by Marty from DTOY Racing Engines, horsepower, let's just say lots, on the roller hubs, on the roller dyno with the racing slicks on board, comfortably over 500. I'm not going to divulge the number because it's not my car. So it sits in here, nice big oil filter. Every race car should have a big oil filter. All right, this one happens to have a dry sump as well. So in under here you can see that I've done all the wiring, including the MSD harness that came with the car when I first started working on it 18 months ago. So that's all been pulled apart, fixed up, tidied up, put back together. We've got a power module down here that's got all the circuit breakers and relays in it. We've got a negative post underneath the little round dress-off cap there. Got the big main fuses for the front of the car just there on that bracket. As much as I don't like the red in here, it's all to show that that's 12 volt power. All right, so you can see that the 12 volt power comes through the firewall and comes all the way up to a big power stud and then spreads out to everywhere it needs to go. And as per the rules, all the positive power is covered up, so we can't drop a spanner or anything silly on it and cause sparks and arcs and fires. So quite a bit of load up here under the bonnet electrically. There's our electric water pump, a very big spell fan. Those things pull so much current, it's surprising just how much it is. A 30 amp relay will not drive that. So if you're thinking about putting a spell 16 inch on, you better be thinking about a lot more than just a single 30 amp relay and fuse to run that puppy, because it won't work. So I've got that all covered off over there in that power module. All right, over here we've also got the connector that comes through that powers up the windscreen wipers. And right up here on the cowl, as per again the rules, right hand driver's side cowl, kill switch. So anything happens, flick that switch and stops the car, stops everything. So lots of braided line in there that we've dressed off over time just to make it look better. Also helps protect it from rubbing, etc. There's various sensors in here. Even though it's not an EFI engine, we still run various sensors into the Motec dash for logging data like various temperatures and pressures that we want to keep an eye on. And there's the engine breather right there poking through the firewall. So nice and serviceable. Then we move our way back into the cabin. Open this door up. So start with the door trims. Les had me make those up a little while ago now. So it's got 4 aluminium door trims in here. Nice big comfortable race seat. Good steering wheel, really good position. Les put a Woodward steering column in it last year and he says it's never felt so good. So let's just keep working our way through here. Oil tank for the dry sump, and then all the plumbing that goes up through the firewall. A little hard to see without a torch there. So I'll start up towards the firewall though. Let's see if this camera will focus for us. The red box there, that's the MSD box that takes care of all the ignition and timing for the engine, seeing that we're carby fed. And you'll see that running along the floor and up to the firewall, we've got battery cables and we've got a fuel line, and then we've got all the associated wiring for making the car run inside the front half of the cabin and through into the engine bay. And again, the red there, that's the boot to say 12 volts power sliding on through the firewall. Another power module here with circuit breakers and relays. They take care of everything that's within the cabin. And you'll see the red boot there covering up the power supply to it. You'll see the back of the tower of power and a couple of connectors there. Let's see how this focuses. Yeah, focuses all right. So yep, so that's all custom made by DTOY Racing here. Just keep moving our way back. Fire extinguisher mounted nice and handy, so it doesn't have to unstrap from the car to be able to utilise it in case of an emergency. Back here, got quite a large battery and a couple more main power fuses and a small control power fuse. The big power fuses, one is for the power module within the cabin and the other one feeds the power through to the boot area. And the small one is mainly power to the dash, the actual tower of power and a couple of other small items. Okay, over this side you can see the Motec dash mounted up there, nice and easy to see through the steering wheel. And this lovely Woodward steering column. It's all very solidly mounted. And there you go, you can see the MSD box again, and under here we've got various connectors for connecting through to the dash and going through the firewall again for the wipers, the kill switch. Down here got a floor mounted pedal box. I must say that when I first started working on this car, it was barely held into the car by whomever built the car years ago. So one of the things we did was we built a whole new frame to mount this pedal box with, and now it's rock solid. It's part of the car. The only way it'll come out is with a gas axe. That's how well the mounts are in the car now. Yet all still quite serviceable. Which you can see it's a bit messy here. Again, the car hasn't been serviced since it was last on track. So this is all coming out for some routine maintenance when Les takes the old girl home, and it'll all get cleaned up and paint touched up, etc. Nice big old mechanical oil pressure gauge there. Just, for me, it's a just in case thing, whereas some people, they rely on that much more so than what the dash is telling them. Over here we do have the tower of power, so the red switch on top, that again turns all the power on or off in the car, as in isolates the battery. And then we got ignition switch, starter switches, lights, wipers, those sorts of things. A couple of other switches there for just in case opportunities. There's another view of the battery. And you see down just inside the left rear door there, a big grey connector. That's the jump start connector, just in case this battery ever did give grief at the track. Okay, in the boot, we've got a big ATI fuel cell down under all this nice dress-off aluminium. Again, another task Les gave me over a year ago now, including building the entire fuel system for the car. So we got a header tank, there's a lift pump and a main pump and a fuel pressure regulator. We've got a fuel level sensor even in this car. So we have a gauge here. So when the car's being serviced at the track, we can turn that switch on and We know how much fuel she's got, and we know how much we need to put in her so she's ready for the next session or race. Again, hard to see. There's the power coming through from that fuse up next to the battery. Comes back, feeds another power module here. So this module again has circuit breakers and relays in it, and as you no doubt have worked out now, that's for everything that's within the boot of the car, and that's including the lights. We've got rain lights, brake lights, tail lights, then we got fuel pumps and the fuel gauge. So not a lot back here, yet quite a lot of time and effort went into building all this. The way the fuel tank was originally mounted in the car, again, was not real flash. So when we went through all the process of building all this dress aluminium, we built a whole new support structure for the fuel tank, changed the way it's mounted, and it's been perfect ever since. Les used to have issues with fuel pickup, etc. And when we were doing that task there over a year ago now, we found some serious issues with the way that the fuel tank was mounted and how things were configured with it. And we fixed it. It's been perfect ever since. We run a couple of fuel filters. So in behind that bracket there, behind the filler neck, is a lift pump. So the black item to the right is a fuel filter. So all the fuel coming out of the tank gets filtered before it makes its way into the header tank. And then when it comes out of the header tank through the main pressure pump, being carburetor is still not very much pressure, comes up through the regulator, and then we have another filter there. So any fuel making its way into the carburetor has been filtered twice. So that's, well, it's going to be quick. It's going to be nearly 15 minutes. So thanks for watching. No, I don't ask you to click, share, subscribe and all that sort of stuff, because I've got like 3 followers, which is all I care about. And they're the people that own the cars that I work on. I'm not in this to make money. I make these videos so that people have something to refer back to. And when I'm old and have Alzheimer's, I'll be able to look at it and the missus will be able to say, you did that, Daryl. And very happy to say I'm proud to have worked on this car. I put many, 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 many hours into it, both here in DTOY Racing and at the track. And Les has been great to deal with. We had a couple of little ups and downs as we were developing some of the things that we did with the car. At the end of the day, though, it's all worked out fantastic. Very happy with how the old girl is. And yeah, looking forward to seeing her get back out on track, which will be very soon. I believe their race season starts at the end of March. So today's the 2nd of March. So Les has got about 3 weeks to do a little bit of testing and some extra servicing to make sure that all is good with a Hanos Car Care VK Commodore. And wish him all the best. He's got a target of what he wants to achieve on track at Queensland Raceway. He's within half a second of doing that. So let's see if some of these changes we've made over the last month help him get a little bit closer to achieving that goal. And all the best. And again, thank you.